This video contains flashing lights due to the reflect beams, proton beams and everything else, so any photosensitive viewers watching this video, you probably should skip this one. However, if you really want to watch this video, feel free to roll dice and take a chance, but proceed with caution. Hey guys, and welcome to a new Dungeon Defenders 2 video. I'm your host Mr. Peter, and this is an educational gameplay video on floor 600 featuring the Initiate. This is a very easy map to do. It's one of the maps you want to do after beating either Lost Temple or the Drakenlord Keep. Starting on this lane, we have EMP healers, armoured, very nice. There's a lot of cyborgs coming through this lane with a handful of support enemies. What they all have in common is that they're all support enemies. Yes, cyborgs are support enemies. For this one, I'm going to use the anti-support and anti-range flamer, but ideally you want something like anti-orc with anti-support, or even anti-chaos with anti-support. But remember, the key component is anti-support, as all of them are support units. For this lane, we have Omega Squad Epsilon. Armoured again, very nice. Soft spot though, ooh, that could be an issue. There's also frost enemies here, however in this lane there won't be any frost swords coming out, so we don't need to overcap. All of these enemies are ranged units, so the flame roll that we have right now is perfect for this lane. I will be adding a Fisher to this lane because of the frost quipply. You should never underestimate frost quipplies. They're tanky, they're fast, but most importantly they attack in numbers. Remember, the flamer can only attack up to 7 enemies at a time. Because they attack in numbers, they can actually walk past the defense without taking any damage. Luckily for me, I created a Fisher to kill these little guys. I'm running anti-frost and anti-goblin. It's literally designed to kill all frost goblins. For this lane we have Cyfrost Vanguard Wampers. Terrible mods. You can't stun them and you can't slow them. This is going to be difficult to defend, so I will have to babysit this lane. I can see 2 goblin types and 2 orc types. The Fisher that we have now can take out the goblins, but we will be using another Fisher to take out the orcs. The other Fisher that I have has anti-frost and anti-orc, literally designed to kill frost orcs. I will also be using the overcap reflect beams and proton beams. I've stacked as much defense rate as I can for these towers, so the frost orc cannot debuff it. Frost orcs have the ability to reduce the attack rate of any nearby towers. Unfortunately, tenacity doesn't prevent the debuff. However, overcapping does. If we didn't overcap, the reflect beam will be attacking every 15 seconds instead of every 2.5 seconds. If the towers aren't attacking fast enough, that means the enemies aren't dying fast enough. For this flyer lane, I'm using the Petrify setup, the best Sky Guard combination so far. So one Sky Guard has poison, and the other one has earth. There's no EMP kobolds here, just wyverns. The Sky Guard should be enough to take them out. And lastly we have EMP Stabby Sappers. Fun fact, Stabby means there will be assassins in this lane. This is applied to all flyer lanes except air raids. Air raids will always have assassins. For the EMP kobold, it's best to have a bait tower. I'm using the Obelisk. You can use the frostbite tower, but I like to use the Obelisk because it's very tanky. And I'll be using the Dryad's Tree. You don't need a build for this, any Chaos 7 totem will do. I'm putting the tree over here because I know there's hedge throwers in the middle lane. I don't want the tree to die because it plays an important role. I've got the Initiate ready, every lane's built, let's do this. People think the Initiate is a female version of the Monk. To be honest, that's not entirely true. Her playstyle is very different. The Monk is a very aggressive hero, whereas the Initiate is a defensive hero. She has the ability to enhance the tower's stats, whereas the Monk can enhance his attack damage. That's why their playstyle is different. The strategy for the Initiate is to constantly buff the defense and apply a lot of CC. The longer they're in the defense, the more damage they're going to take. That is why I run Frozen Path instead of Frostfire. Frozen Path is a very underrated mod. Most people overlook it because they think it's rubbish, and that's where they're wrong. It does a 69% slow at level 10, and remember, slows stack. Boosted Graph is slowing for 48%, the Proton is slowing for 35%, and Drenching Strike is also slowing them for whatever percentage it's doing. But that's a lot of slows, and they're going to move incredibly slow. I absolutely love this playstyle for the Initiate, it's really effective on her. Another thing I wanted to showcase is the interaction between the tree and the bees. As you can see, they're attacking the tree instead of the sub-objective, and the tree hasn't taken any damage yet. A fantastic counter to them. I'll explain more later on. See, we have assassins now. We have a boss down this lane. I'm going to upgrade the LSA to tier 4, but I'm also going to upgrade the Flamer to help trim the flyers down. Upgrade this lane so we don't need to focus on it. And we can upgrade our lane too, because why not? What you want to do is shoot the floor first to activate Frozen Path and then shoot them to apply Drenching Strike. I'm using the Shard Sundering Blow. Because I'm shooting them all the time, I'm constantly reducing their resistance so they take increased damage. I'm also using Radiant Power. Because I'm staying near my defense setup, I'm passively giving my towers defense power, and I'm also buffing my towers with my ability. The tower stats are pretty insane. Once we get to build phase, I'll show you guys what the ability buff can do. That was an example of what the bait tower is for. It stops the EMP kobolds from diving into my sky gods or any of the core. Really helpful and saves a lot of DU. I can't leave this lane as I need to protect the sub objective. Remember, these guys are headstrong and unstoppable. They can't be stunned and they can't be slowed. Interesting. Yeah, on higher floors, assassins hit hard. There's not much you can do about it. I believe a sapper, I call the bees sappers by the way, I think one of them attacked the sub-objective, which is unfortunate. However, this does tell me I should move my tree. Hopefully the hex throwers will ignore the tree. I mean, we'll have to find out on the next wave, I guess. Ooh, that's a dirty boss. She has the ability to blow up the reflect and the proton beam. However, her ability doesn't affect auras, so I'm going to upgrade these to tier 4. Oh, let me show you the stat increase. Here the lava damage is doing 944k damage. If I switch to the initiate, so it's now doing 1.1 million damage. Now if I use my ability to buff it, it now does 1.76 million damage, which is a huge boost in damage. Now if you look carefully, it also increased the tower's defense range. That's nice. It's important to note that this ability does not scale with ability power or hero damage. You will have to use shards to improve it. Chi Supercharge gives defense power and Chi Burst gives defense crit damage. These two shards will help you improve the ability, which will improve our defense. Really good stuff. What I've done is that I've used some shards to help shorten the cooldown of the ability buff, so I can consistently buff my defense. The cooldown of the ability is now 8 seconds long, and it just so happens that the duration of the ability is about 8 seconds long. How convenient! So when the boss does come out, you want to activate Frozen Path, buff the defense, and use your second ability to cripple them. Hold on, give me a minute. Strange, very strange. Usually when she does her stance, she blows everything up, and that's when she becomes difficult to kill, but for some reason she didn't do that. It doesn't matter now. Bees have a very old mechanic where they attack blockades. They can damage blockades, but for some reason they can't damage trees. I don't know why, all I know is that they stop attacking the core. Honestly, I'm glad this is a thing because this trick has helped me a lot in floors, especially on the Lost Temple. Normally I put 2 Skygos down which costs 100 DU, and if there's any EMPs, 40 DU for the Obelisk. That's 140 DU on flies. However, in this scenario it's 20 DU for the tree and 40 DU for the Obelisk. That's 60 DU. I saved 80 DU. Now you guys know about it, abuse it. For people who don't know the Initiate's secondary ability, it's projectile wave, and if any enemies are hit by this wave, they are crippled and take increased damage for a few seconds. Ideally you want to use it against bosses as they have a high amount of resistance. This ability has a short cooldown, but you don't want to spam it, you'll have some mana issues, so it's best to only use it for bosses. The Initiate is a well-rounded hero. If you like this type of playstyle, definitely give her a try because I think she's underrated, and her buff ability is very powerful. Here you can cripple them, buff the defense, and watch their health melt. Look at that, amazing! Really, really good stuff. Same boss again. That's right. Frozen Path only works with heroes who have projectiles, so melee heroes like the Barbarian or the Squire, they don't benefit from this mod, whereas heroes like the Apprentice or the Huntress, they can benefit from it. Yeah, assassins are assassins, you can't really do much about them, but those cyborgs, sometimes they can stun your protons. I don't know how, but it happens. Buff this lane. They didn't run past my defense. Yeah, everything seems fine. From now on, whenever I see her, I'm just going to switch to my monk and kill her. It's way easier than waiting for her. See guys, they're attacking the tree, but it hasn't taken any damage. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you guys for watching this educational gameplay video and this showcase of the Initiate. Hopefully you guys learnt a thing or two from this video, and remember, everything here is in Chaos 7 besides the Reflect Beam. It just comes to show you guys that with the right mods, the right shards and the right strategy, you can go very far in Onslaught. If you guys are interested in my build for the Initiate, show some love by destroying that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more DD2 content, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.